Oh my gosh, what's going on? Early morning here in the US, which means it's like 2:30 p.m. here. So it's I'm in Coventry, England today, and I guess happy Wednesday, happy 2 days after Christmas. So I hope out there, hope everyone got good, had a great Christmas. So a little rain today. It was worse earlier, so this is the best it's been. A little heavier earlier. Actually, some of the trains were delayed from some like flooding and stuff. Ron, I see Ron's on. Lisa, what's going on? So this is a cool place. This is Coventry, England, and right now I'm on like a really historic street that has like 500 years of history, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that. I'm going to fold in, as is, I'm on brand, obviously. Where else would I be? World War II history, okay. There's not much Cold War history here. That would be more towards London with the spies and everything. Cody boy, I'm in England, yes. And thanks, Lisa, for sharing that. But I'm on Spawn Street right now, so I'm doing it's S-P-O-N. So just an overview of what I'm going to do today. And keep in mind, this is weather permitting, because the rain is iffy right now, and obviously can't take the phone through a full-on storm. But Spawn Street, what I'm on now, and then I'm going to walk kind of through town, and I'm going to get up to where the Coventry Ordnance Works was. And that's basically, it was like a 60-acre facility where lots of guns were made for the war, World War I as well, and some aircraft manufacturing as well. So that's mostly gone now, but I'll kind of like mix in a little bit of the history from it, because then you'll understand why Coventry was bombed so heavily by the Luftwaffe. So November 14th and 15th of 1940 was the probably most intense part of that. That was the Coventry Blitz. Hundreds of people were killed. I think actually, no, over 1,000 were, pardon me. And like over 100 factories destroyed and everything. So it was the goal of the German Luftwaffe to take out Coventry, because it was such a manufacturing hub. And it wasn't just from World War II. I mean, it was even prior to World War II, even World War I as well. One of the things Coventry still has today is it still has some of this manufacturing and war type of industries that gets kind of repurposed during peacetime. They did at one point make some garments, and actually where I'm standing now is where so if you don't know what that is, that's a way that leather is tanned, and it's kind of a stinky process. It uses urine. I visited some of the tanneries in Morocco, and it's not a pleasant experience to smell. But the reason they put them here is this is a little bit further away from like the cathedral and things too. This was at that time on the outskirts of town, and it kind of still is today, because like this is the ring road right here behind me. Of course, that's more of a modern thing that wasn't really put in until after World War II, but we'll talk about it, and I'll sprinkle in some history as we go. So finish explaining it. Heard about the pediatrics EKG. Finish explaining it. Which part? Sorry. Yeah, travel hockey coach. Thank you. So my brother plays hockey here, so I'm visiting him. This is my first time to the city center this year. I was here around Thanksgiving too, but I wasn't able to do much in town. So anyway, we'll do a walk here, and we'll talk about some cool stuff, and we'll see how you guys do here in the weather. So, hey Lisa, thanks for the follow. So anyway, so like I said, Spawn Street was a former area for the tanneries. And the thing about Coventry now is they actually still make some garments here. There's still some things they produce for military purposes, even in present day. So it still has a function of being a bit of a supplier. But the reason the Germans targeted it so heavily was because it was producing planes, automobiles, engines, guns. So Coventry actually still has one of the largest if not the largest machinist facilities. I think they have like a 36-foot diameter turntable for machining like gears. So that's a massive facility that's able to drill through metal to make huge gears. So howitzers were made here too. So super strong, long range guns like 15-inch howitzers, 4.5-inch howitzers were made here even during World War I. So that was a big asset for the British Army, especially in World War I. Of course, the Allies won both of those wars, but the World War II was longer, and it was heavily contested too. So there was parts at the time, parts of that war where probably weren't sure where, what direction it was going to go. So anyway, I'll spin you around, have you look at Spawn Street. This might be similar to that one I did in New York where I had to take little breaks from the rain because it's not great. But what you're looking at is, timbered houses, timber over brick. And some of these have, 400 or 500 year old history. Parts of Coventry date back to the 1200s too, especially around the church and the cathedral. So you have some 13th and 14th century history here that is, preserved. And some of these buildings, because of Coventry was so destroyed during that Coventry Blitz, some of these buildings were actually moved from other parts of town, but some were not, and they were here. So the original tannery area was here too. And remember, like I said, just because of the smell, it was a kind of an unpleasant smell. So they kind of pushed them to the outskirts of town so they didn't stink up the downtown. Lily, yes, I'm in England. I am definitely in England. So looks England, doesn't it? You know what I mean? It has that, if you kind of know how the architecture is, you can kind of spot it right away. So Al, thanks for the follow. So it's a pretty quiet day today, but not as quiet as yesterday. If you don't know, it's a big holiday the day after Christmas in the UK and then like former British colonies or Commonwealths. It's called Boxing Day. 26th of December is called Boxing Day. So it's a big holiday. It's really just it's a bank holiday too. So it's a day where people, I think, more than likely find themselves, celebrating or doing social activities or maybe in the pub. So anyway, you kind of understand that. Yeah, everybody. Boxing Days. It's also popular in Canada too, because as you may or may not know, that was a dominion of UK until the 70s. So they still retain a lot of the British isms. But here, look at this aging but maintained building here with the timber. So you can see the spelling. If you didn't catch me, spell it S-P-O-N, Spawn Street. Okay, it's common in England too to have signs low. They don't typically have them high up. So it's very common to post them right kind of at eye level rather than being like above your head, because it's more for pedestrians than it is for motorists. So old and new, obviously with Coventry being bombed heavily, much of it needed to be rebuilt. And then of course a lot of the factories and stuff were, after the war lost their purpose too. So much of that has been renovated and repurposed as well. Just to look at, a building that has 400 to 500 year old bones, which is really crazy when you think about it. That's one of the things about Europe, contrast to the United States, it's so different, is, we'll surprise ourselves and have something from the 1800s or something like that. And certainly in a city like New York, you have, Paris is dating back to the 1600s, back when it was New Amsterdam, of course. But, you're talking add 200-300 years on that, right? So anyway, Sammy, no problem. Same to you, buddy. I'm coaching kids hockey. I work in hockey, and my brother plays here. He plays for the Coventry Blaze. So they play Cardiff tonight at 7:30 British time. So that would be GMT, Greenwich Mean Time. And Kara, thank you, Lisa, for answering. So spin you around too. You can get another look at St. John the Baptist Church, which this one was not bombed out like the Coventry Cathedral, which we'll see in a bit. So this one's still intact. And we'll get a little closer so you can see. This is where England starts to really look like England, because you see the way that religious figures are depicted. It's so, you know what I mean? Doesn't that just look English to you? It's amazing. Just think of how many people walk this area, walk these, around the church here. The church really had a great deal of power in the UK for a long time. I know that was a big deal as far as separating church and state. That was a super, super important thing because the church had so much power. But hey, Toby, Merry Christmas, buddy. Merry Christmas. These are some gravestones here, buried on the church grounds. Incredibly old. Look at that. There's a tomb here. Wow. Let me see if I can catch some numbers on one of the gravestones. This is kind of amazing. This is open. So it's almost like those bodies where I'm standing. It's probably like, those bodies can't be too much lower than right here, which is kind of crazy. So I see 1820. It's kind of on par with the U.S. We have cemeteries that have, those types of dates. Check this one here. 1846. Benjamin Brown. This is 1830. So I'm gonna, coming up on, 200 years. Gravestones put down 200 years ago. Pretty crazy. (1828), and these are tombs. Wow, that's crazy too. That's pretty cryptic there. Looks like Sonora, California. Interesting. A little rain today, though. It's kind of inclement weather, but I think it's England. It suits England to have rain. Kind of makes it look like England. I got my boots today too, so I'm well prepared. Rich, well-to-do Victorians, probably. Yeah, I would imagine, right? I mean, that's a considerable expense, given that, if you were a peasant in these times, you didn't have a funeral at all. So you're talking about some seriously wealthy people. Well-to-do Victorians, indeed. Home of Jaguar, yes, I do. It's funny that the staff of the Blaze are kind of like some of the hockey guys, like the guys, like the equipment guys. They're like, gearheads, whatever, and they were Jag drivers too. It's funny to think of that. Interesting, Hey, Mark, this is Coventry, England. So we're right in the city center, just really less than 10 minutes from the Coventry Cathedral. That's kind of the centerpiece of tourism. It's where the church has this like bombed out look to it. So I'll be getting there too as well. But this is the St. John the Baptist Church. I'll just pan up again so you can see it as well. Cast iron mama. Great handle, by the way. What a great, unique handle. It always pays to be unique, So this one founded in 1344. 1344. The Coventry Cathedral, I know, has dates back to the 1200s, but this is quite amazing. So you think about the stones laid then, right? and how how much time is they've logged there holding up the wall. So it's incredible. This is the other side of the cemetery, so I was just basically on the other side of this wall here a minute ago. So I was just on this side here. So I'm just giving you another angle of the church and seeing also some half-timbered houses as well here, dating the area, of course. Share the culture, the whole world is a good job if could get salary. Yes. About 30 minutes away is Castle Bromwich. Big World War II factory made Spitfires there. That would be cool to see. If I had a car, I'd be able to go there. Yeah, club named after West Bromwich, the Baggies, right? Isn't that near there? Isn't that area? So this is other thing too to point out. This is yes, I am near the Primark. The Primark right there in the upper precinct. Yeah, I saw that Primark. It's enormous. In a second, we're going to see another almshouse that's pretty historic. But this is if you don't know, in the UK, like an almshouse is kind of like it's a name for like a retirement home, or it's a home for the elderly or like sick. But yeah, it's kind of like a polite way. I almost like wish we had that terminology, calling something an almshouse. Doesn't sound as bad as like old folks home, Yeah, Hope Video. Yeah, no kidding. Wouldn't that be something? That'd be quite amazing. College of Bab Lake. I know that parish was called that at one point. So, and Bonds Hospital. Just spin through the courtyard here. So it's still a home for the elderly, so I'll be really quiet. But back during the early part of the 13th century, 14th, excuse me, not 13th century, 1300s, 1400s. This was a boys' school, and then it housed some of the clergy, religious people from the church here. It was the Bab Lake School, and it's still, like I said, an almshouse now. But isn't that crazy, actually? Because it has this, this actually wouldn't be a bad place to live. I mean, if you were into English architecture and everything, too, this would be pretty cool. So, it's just, basically a stone's throw from the church. But it links together with this gate here. What's the place that said Bond something? I don't know. This is what was the Bab Lake School. Now it's an almshouse. Yeah, May is a nice time. The prices on the houses, so Coventry has a lot of office work now. So I know Coventry isn't all that cheap. I know someone that lives in the city Rugby, and that's like the express train to London is 36 minutes from Rugby. So it's my understanding that you can have a home in Rugby for 3 to 4 times the size of what you can buy in London, and then commute, and you're still making more money than if you lived in London. That's a London example, but Coventry is a little further. The express train to London here is about an hour, but there are a lot of jobs here. So this is considered the Midlands, so it's not going to be as expensive as like the South. The South is London. The North would be like Manchester. So this is the Midlands, meaning like kind of like halfway up England. But I know the more south you get, the more you get paid. So the jobs in the South pay a little bit more to offset the cost of living. So what a lot of people do is end up commuting. And I think even still here, to fully answer your question, you're still under an hour to London. So you could work there and commute all week, and you're still okay. You're still doing all right. There's plenty of space here. And I know some people that live just outside of town, like 5-6 minutes, and they have like a proper house. So I think to answer your question, if you wanted to live in town here, it's probably a little bit more. But if you're willing to drive into the city, you're fine. Here's the Bond's answer. This is Bond Court. So that's just the street. So English streets sometimes have different names that we're not maybe used to in the US, but it's just Bond's Court Almshouse. Oh, you did the Chelsea. Have you been to a pub? Not yet. All I had today was fish and chips. So probably eat something later, like a curry or something. I don't think London's prices are that crazy compared to New York. New York's prices seem like they're really out the door. The nice part about England is there seems to be somewhat of a cap on what people will pay. Because there's definitely obscene wealth, but it doesn't seem like they are doing what New York is doing as far as just throwing up condos everywhere and calling it luxury and charging crazy prices, you know? I don't know if I see that as much. Almshouse used to be for very poor people. Okay, so it was a you know, more of a welfare type of situation. Interesting. Okay. Good to know that. Thank you. You know what? I actually could. In London, I've done some lives from the double-decker buses, actually. I've done a few of them from the double-decker buses. I really enjoyed them, too, because you get a seat up top, right on the window, and it's like you're driving, you know? Hey, from San Francisco, how's it going? So, I'm going to walk now towards the edge, the northern edge of the ring road. And out on the way, I'll spit some facts at you about the Coventry Ordnance Works, okay? And then when we get there, I'll kind of just turn you around a little bit so you can see. But we'll talk about where we're going, because it was a super important site for what the Germans were targeting, okay? So, but before I do that, so you have an idea where we are, I'm going to show a picture of the map the Germans, the Luftwaffe, used to bomb Coventry, okay? So, one moment, I'm going to show you a picture, and then we'll continue the walk. So, all the red sites are where the German Air Force was targeting Coventry because various things were built here. So, if you can see, that's basically the train. And Coventry Central is around here. So it's just about here. So when I walk north, where we're going to be in a second, up here was the Ordnance Works. So that was a massive 68-acre facility that produced guns and parts for planes and engines. So that's where the Luftwaffe was targeting. So all these places in red were targets, okay? So there was aircraft parts, automobile engines, engine parts, and then machine tooling. Like I was telling you, the Ordnance Works had that 36 diameter, still does, that 36 diameter machine table, like that turntable. Some huge things could be drilled and machined. But the howitzers those are long guns, and the barrel on them is pretty wide. So like the 4.5-inch howitzer, I know that was super popular. That could just be pulled with like I think 2 guys in World. The 15-inch howitzer, that was a big gun. I mean, that is a big gun that had a long range to it. So it was a big target for the Luftwaffe. And I've talked about this author so much here, but if you've ever read Malcolm Gladwell's The Bomber Mafia, or if you ever had interest in him and his work, now would be the time to do it, because this will tie in a lot of what we're doing here. He'll tell you a little bit about how air forces changed their tactics, how bombing technology and precision changed, and you'll get a better feel for like why Coventry was a target, and then how the Germans went about their strategy versus the Allied strategy. It's a pretty cool book that dictates it. Obviously, it has Malcolm Gladwell's spin to it, but anyway. Shipbuilding, that was like Liverpool. So great question. That was because we're not really on the water here, but you think like Manchester, Liverpool, so up north. So up there on those port cities. And I'm sure there had to be something in the south too, but I think they preferred that up north because it was more insulated. It was on the northwest coast, like, I'm using poor perspective here for you, but it wasn't close to Europe, like on the south, that part was much closer to Europe, so it would be more susceptible to an attack, whereas the other part would have to be flown over the country. So it was just more insulated, being on the side of Ireland, like the Republic of Ireland. There's a pub near Primark and an old bank, very cheap beer, and a sing-song in the afternoon. That's cool. A lot of the guys go to Weatherspoons right by the rink, so that's actually where I ate lunch. And, it's not bad either. Here's a history. We have a lot of time to record movies. I could enjoy the culture of food, building, construction art. Yeah, no, it is great. It really is. Oh yeah, at least we get sandwiches at Boots. You know what they do really well here, even though this isn't like a local tip, is it's a big deal in England to get the meal deal at like a Sainsbury's or Waitrose, or Spar has them. A lot of the groceries store or the supermarkets have them. It's a sandwich, usually a baked good, and then a drink. So like you can get like a juice or smoothie. They have these like things that are pretty healthy, but it's a thing in England where they'll kind of judge you on your meal deal. Like if you get like a cheese sandwich, a Tropicana, and like a bag of crisps, which is like what chips are called, they kind of like, it's seen as sort of inferior to if you have like a better sandwich or baked good that's a little bit better. Like anyway, it's just kind of a funny way they tease each other. But yeah, so all right. The always important battery charge moment. So whenever I start my lives for the day, I try to let it ride a little bit just on the battery, and then inevitably you get the warning that your battery is low. So pardon me, I'm going to plug it in. I have a 20,000, the largest power bank you can buy on Amazon from Mophie. This thing's heavy. I don't bring this for nothing, all right? Because you can charge 2 things at once without breaking a sweat. And when I charge this battery, it gets hot. So never use it. I never really use it on a plane, just for safety. Wouldn't want to have any incidents. But when you charge it, like the block that goes in the wall gets really hot because of all the insulation. All right, battery charge moment. Here we go. We're just taking a quick break from the rain. Not really a break, but, staying out of the water for a moment. All right. Onwards. Oh, I'm missing your current messages. I apologize. Do the locals like Americans? Well, of course. Sure they do. We're friends in the UK, you know? Like, we're buddies. You don't have to worry about that. That's why chocolate is so popular. What other drink do you think, Lisa, what other beverage do you think is popular that goes hand in hand with poor weather? Just off the top of your head. Yeah, the English, you would not believe how friendly the English are here. I mean, first of all, you know, it's what's the joke? Two countries divided by a common language. Tea for sure. I was going more for the alcoholic side. People love to knock back a few pints in the pub. Yeah, right. So Lisa got it. That was the life experience taught her that. Yeah. So, all right. I'm gonna walk to the site. Warm beer. Only ale, I think, is warm. They have. I had in Cardiff last night. I had a cider and it was great. One cider. Fell asleep on the way home. Jet lag sleep last night. Tough. You know, you go to bed and you wake up 2 hours later. So I kind of had to just get up, get some poll and stuff done for tomorrow, and then go back to sleep a little bit. I am in Coventry, England. Coventry, Midlands, just east of Birmingham. I'm going to walk under this little roof thing here too. I was trying to give you more of a realistic feel, but it is raining. Yeah, visited my brother. He lives here. It's his second year with the club. I actually just met the club president, so tough matchup for Coventry tonight. They play Cardiff Devils, really strong team, high budget. They've hosted, they've hosted some NHL exhibition games before. I think probably about somewhere in the 2010s. I think they had the Islanders or the Ducks over here. All right. I'm going to show you a little bit more. I'll flip the camera around. Yeah, England is nice. And like I said before, the rain, don't let it throw you off because, it kind of fits, right? Even though I'm not going to have any time to go inside, the Coventry Transport Museum is not far. Oh, you've been to a Coventry match? Okay. Well, I'll be there tonight if anyone is, if anyone's interested. I'll be at the arena tonight. So there's some of the housing we were discussing, and now there's Corporation Village here. Tons of new housing. So Coventry used to have, like I was saying before, if you just jumped on, a lot used to be manufactured here. So similar to cities in the United States, you have factories and things that lose their purpose. Those sites are ripe for redevelopment. So Pittsburgh, where I'm from, big steel town, most of the mills are gone and they're repurposed into mixed retail, residential space, or just entertainment spaces. So not very novel of an idea, of course, but you can see here some of the new part of the town with multi-story apartments, new fixtures, great bathrooms, kitchens, etc. And part of the old town. There's the legendary corner. It's fast fashion, okay? Wouldn't say it's overall quality, but you won't lose your shirt buying something there if you forget it on your trip. That might be the worst. I'm saving all my bad jokes for the end of the year, so gotta get all my shit jokes out of the way for the end of the year. Birmingham was a big manufacturing city indeed. Hey, Red Angel, what's up? We talked before. That's right. We talked in New York, maybe, right? I think. And your mom is from Coventry. That's cool. I actually had a viewer, however you want to refer to yourselves, from Coventry, and she's not on right now. We've actually chatted in direct messages and stuff too, and I was hoping she'd be able to like jump on and like, you know, kind of contribute. So, to those asking about local food, so Coventry prices are actually great. You can get some stuff just like a few pound. It's not expensive here, but one surefire thing that you can always rely on, especially in Europe, is a kebab. And that's either shawarma or chicken. Sometimes it's a beef and chicken mix. Sometimes I've seen beef and lamb. You can also usually in these shops get vegetarian items like falafel. That is an easy way to have like a semi-healthy-ish meal. I mean, there's a lot of veggies involved. They're not going to be organic, but the meat isn't. But it's like this one here is like 6 pounds. It's like about $8. So it's more expensive than Germany. Excuse me, sorry. It's more expensive than Germany, but you know, it's still well under 10 pounds, so it's okay. Fish and chips still a favorite, and the kebab is €1. Exactly. Yes, precisely. But just so you know, that was a bicyclist on the sidewalk. So that's what that was. The wind is actually not bad. And you know what? It's Greek, it's Turkish, it's Middle Eastern. They're all kind of, you know, it's like the kebab is in Europe, it's €1. And I agree with you, Lisa. I know, I remember thinking that as a kid too. I thought it was shish kebab, like on the skewer. But a kebab, I think that's a shish kebab. A kebab is a doner, D-O with the umlaut, N-E-R. And it's the bread, it's the shawarma or the meat with, you know, the cucumber sauce, the dill, or, you know, like a tzatziki. And then, you know, your lettuce, tomato, onion, maybe a little bit of cabbage or red cabbage or something to give it a little bit more pop. So, there's the Coventry Transport Museum. This is a really cool spot. I don't have time to go in today, but it talks a lot about the planes and the different things made here, all the motors and things built here, which is pretty cool. Sounds like a dare. Which division is Coventry in? Are you talking football or hockey? They're in the EIHL, so they're in the elite league for hockey. I think for football they're in the championship, or maybe the third league. I'm actually not sure, because just in this region, you know, you have Aston Villa, and Wolverhampton in the Premier League. So there's a Pool Meadow bus station. Rain's really coming down now. This is no joke here. I don't know if I'm going to make it over to the Ordnance Works area. Might be kind of silly. Guy's riding an e-scooter and sandals. That's risky. That is crazy, actually. So I got a little bit of cover here. Oh no worries. I'm here for ice hockey. Yeah, isn't that crazy? Although I think the Wolves play at home on the 30th at like 3. But Coventry, like the Blaze, also play that day, so I couldn't do that. And I'm not sure when Villa plays. Somebody might play today, actually. Going for a brew, Swiftdale. Don't worry, I will later. I'll have one with the boys after. They don't play for 2 days, so they play today, They have, sorry, one day. They don't play tomorrow, and then they play the 30th and the 31st. So the 30th they're home, and then on the 31st they play at Nottingham. If you don't know, that was the club that lost a player earlier this year to that freak injury. That was Adam Johnson, former Pittsburgh Penguin. That was this league. That was the EIHL. So if you are aware of that, it was pretty grisly. I wouldn't recommend watching that unless you like are okay with maybe it's not like you see a lot of blood, but if you understand how severe the injury was, I mean, it really cut a lot of his throat. It was kind of crazy actually, but that was earlier this season, so it kind of shocked the hockey world. It definitely mandated neck guards in a lot of different ways. So anyway, after the first time freezing in England, I was always rude. I have like a puffer jacket on underneath that has like, it's like my base layer jacket. I don't leave home without it after, I don't know, August, because if you get like a cold snap, it's like one of these jackets, insufferable to wear in the summer. Like I used to wear it as my bench jacket, and it's like you can't wear it when it's hot because you're just sweating. But in the wintertime, you gotta have it because there's no, like that down feather, there's no comparison. Oh, I have. Don't worry. I've had 2 flat whites today. You know, a decent meal. I had some veggies. Oh, don't worry. Don't worry about me. Man, this weather sucks. Damn it. Well, guys, listen. I'm just going to tell you about the ordnance works. So if I walked past the ring road north, so if I walk through there, if you see that ring road bridge,
he would have bled.
so through here and up, that's just north of there is where the ordnance works was. It was a 60-acre site. And, you know, they produced, like I said, howitzers, biplanes, other guns, other armaments, engine motors. And anyway, so basically those guys are kind of just, I don't know, they seem like they were drinking, so I'm just going to avoid the conversation. Normally when people are friendly, they're fine, but other than that, I am not drinking anything. Hello. Hello. They also kind of smelled like drugs. So anyway, the building with the arches, this is a coach house. This is a bus terminal here. All right, so Coventry Ordnance Works. I wanted to take you to the site. It was actually there, but I would get so wet walking up and back here because there really isn't anything to see right now. So anyway, that's okay. We can skip it, and I'll just have to walk through town and show you more of the town, which will be a little bit better anyway. But as you saw on that map, there was multiple sites in Coventry, but most of it was either airplane parts or like armament parts. So whether it was like turrets, guns, howitzers, things like that. So all that stuff was made here, and then like as companies do, they cluster because a lot of the technology it's similar. You're making different parts. Maybe you're making gears, and you have to talk to the gun people to see how they work, and everyone kind of specializes in their specific part of that job. And there was a lot of there's a transport museum here. There's a lot of airplane technology made here. So anyway, you get it. Coventry Ordnance Works. Unfortunately, the site's completely redeveloped, but that's where it was, just north of here. So anyway, maybe next time on a better day, I'll be able to show it to you. This is England. This is Coventry, England. No brawly. Yeah, no brawly. Yeah, no brawly when you're holding a phone stabilizer. Let me see here. Uh-oh. Stabilizer might be getting mad at me. I don't think it likes getting wet. I was trying to get like 2 more trips out of this because I think I'm going to get a different phone. And I just didn't want to, I just wanted it to make through 2023. I actually offered it up to even Jen, I offered it to her. She's not on right now. Because people ask me like what stabilizer I use, and the one side of it's kind of like broken, so I would give it out if somebody wanted it. Terry M, how you doing? All right, so anyway, you get it with the Ordnance Works. So, let's do the center of town. It is really raining though, so it'll be okay. I'm gonna suck it up. Because let's do the center of town. It is really raining though, so it'll be okay. I'm gonna suck it up. Those guys are moving on to greener pastures. Get it? Quote unquote greener pastures. Maybe they found some better stuff. But yeah, it's a Pool Meadow bus. I'm showing you the inside of a bus station. So I hope you're so thrilled at that. Oh, the 15 Pro. So this is my 13 Pro. And this stabilizer won't hold this one. So I got to get a different one. This is my new phone. Facebook Marketplace special. Oh, the sound went out. I'm sorry. That's weird. Jeez. That's odd. So, like I was saying before, Sainsbury's or, Waitrose, all their supermarkets, even Asda, they have the meal deals. So you can grab, and I'll just show you. Let me see if this guy will let me in. Pull him up for a second. So, this is what I was discussing. So this is the meal deal. He's going to stop me, I think. So Oh, hi.
Is it video?
No.
Yeah.
What,
is it video?
Yeah, it's a video. Okay, thank you. So, as I suspected, people don't like you filming in supermarkets. I think they think it's because they don't want to share information with competitors. But if you just caught that, it's £3.50 for a meal deal, and you can get other things that sort of like upgrade it. So that's a sandwich, a baked good, which could be like a sausage roll or like something from like their bakery little section, and like a drink too. So it's not bad. That's an example of like a meal on a budget. But when you say like a sandwich, it's not usually hot. But all the food here is pretty well produced. So all the veggies you can rely on.
What's your TikTok? Can I give you a follow?
Oh yeah, it's Nicholas Kukali.
Let me play.
It's mostly history stuff. It's not that cool.
I can learn some history.
Yeah, it's alright. How you guys doing?
What's it?
How are you doing? Good day?
Are you from America?
Yeah.
Where in America are you from?
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, one of the coolest places ever. Wink, wink.
Have you been in Ohio
Just kidding.
before?
Yeah, I'm kidding.
What's it called?
Pittsburgh, it's just Nicholas Kukali.
Nicholas what?
Guys, I'm like way older than you. It's mostly dorky stuff. I don't think you're gonna like it. NICHOLAS. Here, I'll tap it.
Where are you from?
Pennsylvania. Pittsburgh. It's this. You don't have to follow it. You can just.
It's okay. Well, I'm good to follow.
I'll follow you back too. I think.
Oh, you got 11
Say,
followers?
we can support each other, right?
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye, guys. Have a great day. See you guys later. Bye, guys. I know they're gonna hate the page, but it's okay. The meal. Yeah, I do the walking tours of NYC. They didn't. I should have told them that. That's what I should have told them. I said I'm from Pittsburgh, but I'm a quasi New York partial year resident. Which isn't even true. Yeah, they were cool kids. I thought they were gonna give me a little shit from being from the U.S., but I guess if you're doing this, it kind of works better if you are a tourist. Slow down. So here's the biggest Primark in the UK, or one of the biggest. People were asking about it earlier. I've delivered it to you. Also to Greg's. Oh, the rain's letting up a little bit. Okay, all right. I can deal with that. Also too, the meal deals, that's interesting, Lisa, they started that like as a healthy alternative, because all the items separately would probably be like twice the price. So the meal deal really makes the most sense. So here's the Primark. If you don't know what that is, it's kind of like it's almost like a Burlington, a Kohl's, and like a Bed Bath & Beyond, like in one. But it's mostly clothes. But if you don't want to spend a lot of money, Greg's, okay? Greg's is like akin to like a 7-Eleven, but think of like the food's just a little bit better. So like they have like the sausage roll. That's like the big thing at Greg's. So like that's a savory roll and a hot drink. It's £2.70. So that's where it can be really cheap. But their thing here is the sausage roll. So it's basically like a flaky, very light pastry with like a sausage roll inside, but it's not, it's almost like a minced. I'm just talking, I'm going this way. Sorry about that. Thank you. So it's going to be hard luck filming in restaurants here. That's why I don't really do it. So, I know people before have asked me to go in the restaurants and stuff too. I think what you have to do is almost ask them beforehand. But I think at a big store, you're never going to get a yes, because legally they can't tell you yes. So that's kind of maybe why I thought Pittsburgh was cute, but he never goes back. Oh, really? Yeah, Greg's is good for like a quick stop. It can be good for breakfast too, I think. But what I was going to say about the sausage roll, don't think like a Bavarian sausage with a hard casing. Like there's no like, it's like almost like a minced meat where it's softer, so you don't like have to like bite it. You know, like you eat like a proper German sausage with a roll. You have to bite through the bread, and then like the snap of the casing is kind of another task. That's not how sausage roll at all is. It's kind of like easy to eat, so it's not at all like a to-do. Anyway, like it could be done one-handed. Can't believe I spent that much time telling you about that, but I wanted to give the context. When you say sausage roll, it's not like... Anyway. That was purely food, by the way. There was nothing else I was really referencing. So, anyway. My key demographic will understand. So look, the rain stopped for a minute. It was just raining I was down at Pool Meadow, but It's okay. We can skip the ordnance works. I pretty much told you everything about it anyway. All I was going to do was get to the site where it was. But I can do that another time. Okay. Now, this is kind of the granddaddy of them all. Now, there's 3 former cathedrals here. Actually, well, 2 former cathedrals. One that was destroyed during the war, and the other one was the only one destroyed during the English Reformation. That was where the church really wanted to reform and break away from the Pope and some of the sort of ruling class of the church. So let's go through. Let's do like a walk through the campus while the rain is off, and then I'll kind of talk about it. So it's the old foundations here too. And the Coventry Castle, which is kind of basically all gone, is basically where some of these sites are today. So the new church that they built after the original Coventry Cathedral was destroyed, at first was like a controversial thing, but then almost immediately people accepted it as a symbol of reconciliation. And a couple things to the war too. So one, years after World War II, some Germans actually came to Coventry and helped rebuild the cathedral as like a symbol of reconciliation. And people from England also did the same in Germany. So they were gestures that helped kind of bring the two countries back to peacetime. The other thing about Coventry too is it actually sheltered a lot of kids that were targets of the Holocaust. So what happened is when the regime that was in power during World War II in Germany, without me saying the name, when they started to target lots of different groups, what people chose to do sometimes if they couldn't actually get themselves out was to get their kids to safety. And they called that program Kindertransport, which just basically means child transport. It's like Kinder is just the word for kid or child. And a lot of them actually came to Coventry. So there were German kids here too during World War II that were protected from the Holocaust. So I'm gonna walk in the cathedral now. There's a really, really great picture of Winston Churchill walking through the Coventry Cathedral after it was bombed. And then here's the new cathedral, which has a pretty cool modern look to it. I don't know if Kinder means kind in German. It's just, I think it's Jung is like boy and Mädchen is girl, but Kinder is child. Might be locked for the day. I'm not sure when it closed. Yeah, but they were going to England. Yeah, the Kinder transport. So, yeah, Kinder is in kindergarten. Yes, exactly. Thank you, Lisa. That's a much, much better. Maybe I can grab a visit here to the cathedral during on the 30th or the 31st. Because it looks like for now it's closed. give you the history now. So first of all, these spires, I think they're like the third tallest in England, which is crazy because you consider London as being part of that too. That's pretty wild. But right now we are inside the Coventry Cathedral, and the reason you only see the walls is because it was bombed so heavily during the Blitz of Coventry. And a lot of those bombs actually weren't like carpet bombs or explosive bombs. They were incendiary bombs, meaning they were just meant to light things on fire. And that's why Coventry, during the 14th and 15th of November 1940, was bombed so heavily at night. Like the entire city was ablaze, and it destroyed a lot of the city. So I think over 1,000 people were killed, hundreds of factories were destroyed, which was really the main goal of the Blitz. But the other part of the Blitz too is to just destroy the city, destroy a lot of the momentum of the the war effort there from the Allies. So this is, London was bombed for sure too, but London had parts of it sort of rebuilt a little bit quicker. There's one church in London now, actually near the Great Fire Monument, that has a similar look with the ceiling's completely gone. But this one's famous, and it's also famous too, like I said, for having some pictures of Winston Churchill walking through the cathedral after it was bombed. But the way the roof fell, the way the supports of the roof fell, it actually fell in the shape of a cross, and then they did commemorate that. I believe that's over there. They have actually the cross, and they kind of took it as like a symbol of the religious significance of the site, and that was maybe that God was still with them because it fell in that way where it gave the people hope for rebuilding the cathedral. Oh, it should still have an underground level. I bet it does. The last time I was here, I was able to visit inside, but it looks like it's already closed for the day. So maybe I thought before 4 I'd be okay, because I know all the museums kind of close around 4, 5, but maybe another day I can get back by here. But I'm gonna go over here so you can kind of see the back of it. But that was all done during, those were German bombs that burnt this church. So knowing the proximity of Germany to England and really how at risk they were, that's where the keep calm and carry on thing comes from. That was a message to Londoners to just go on with their daily life and don't let the thought of being bombed affect them or ruin, make them hysterical. The other thing about that too, I mean, London had a blitz of I think over 30 days. It was bombed for over 30 days at night, every night. So the UK withstood some serious pummeling by the Luftwaffe. So here's the back of the cathedral. Yeah, Blitzkrieg, right. Yeah, Krieg is, Kriegsmarine is like the Navy, because that's the German word for Navy. So lightning war, fast moving ground troops supported by artillery. Of course, they didn't invade England on land, like it was done by air. So they didn't, the German troops weren't here, like it didn't occupy, it didn't occupy England. They didn't occupy the UK. But yeah, the Blitz is what that style of bombing is referred to. Coventry, probably the hardest hit city. Yeah, that was there was a lot of death here. That's the other thing too, is if you know anything about World War II side of bombing in England, so they actually set up these all these hospitals and sites where people could go and like outside of London and talk to people or have counseling about it. And what they found was they weren't used. People didn't leave London like they thought they were going to. The whole concept of the bombing campaigns by Germany were to scare people. They were to incite fear. And what happened is the opposite was true. Once they bombed a few times, people actually stayed. They were like, we've been bombed. Like, we survived. It actually gave the British people hope and like more strength in knowing that they could survive being bombed, because after the first bombing raids, they realized that like it's not like mass destruction, not everyone's dead. So it actually worked in the opposite effect of what Germany wanted to do. The Blitzkrieg was a completely different thing too, because then they would invade on land too. They would bomb and then they would invade, and that didn't really happen here. They just bombed, and they realized then too, the way the targeting was, it wasn't, there wasn't as much precision as maybe what there is now. So that's kind of what happened is people actually, the word morale, exactly. People actually gained mental strength from knowing they could be bombed and they would survive. I have two stories. I know one story of a woman when they were setting off the sirens, like the air raids are coming. She was gonna put on, like a dress and go out to the movie theater, and they like thought about it for a second. Oh, should we go to the bomb shelter? And they were like, no, screw it. Then they went to the theater anyway. So people just carrying on with their lives, not killed or anything. And then another story was, I think like middle of the war, London had already been bombed several times. A resident was quoted as saying, like, they asked him, like, will you leave? Will you leave London and go, out to the country that maybe wouldn't be as targeted? And the quote was, what, leave and miss all this? So it ended up having this reverse effect, which is crazy when you think about that. It gave the English people morale, and it's one of those things that they didn't run like the Germans wanted them to. The Germans wanted that be the reason that people just left, and they could just kind of sweep in and take their cities and make them German. Elvis served in the military. Yeah, those are like famous pictures. They see him serving. Yeah, absolutely. So old and new here. Great shot of both. Oh, maybe, yeah. The Elvis thing, I just remember seeing military photos of him. But that's probably a bad thing for me to answer. This is why we are bombarded with advertisements, to keep money power away from the public. So anytime you see like keep calm and something, that is from not propaganda, but that was from like the morale boosting slogans from World War II. Keep calm and carry on. Don't let because I mean, look, the way, if you're England and people leave your biggest cities, well, they're going to be a lot harder to defend. So that's the other thing. And they didn't want people just fleeing. They were set up to help people and support them. But if people leave your cities, they're going to get taken. So that's one of those things. So in a way, it kind of saved England from being invaded. Also, obviously, having a buffer of water helps a ton too, because a lot of Europe was invaded. But anyway, I like the new church. I think it's great. I like that round feature they had on the other side. I think that was awesome too. But yeah, if you on the Wikipedia page, there's the picture of Winston Churchill inside the church. So again, this used to have a roof on it. So it was incendiary bombs destroyed it. But as I mentioned before, there was some acts for reconciliation. Germans did come here and help rebuild things. So quiet now, huh? The rain stopped. Right after the rain stops, it's usually quiet for a minute while everyone figures out that they can walk around and not get wet. Yeah, exactly. A poppy flower, precisely. Yeah, it was from Flanders Fields. It's a really, really poignant thing, especially in the UK and Canada too. As a commemoration for the war. the statue right here? Interesting question. I'm not totally sure. I think this has some mythology involved because this character doesn't look human. You mean this statue here? Not totally certain. It's a nice piece of ironwork. It looks like basically the triumph of religion over evil. That looks like a devil or satanic character. But I'm not too sure who that saint might be. I'm not going to go inside. It's actually not open right now. Yeah, I'm not sure why it's not. It might be closed this entire week because I thought it was going to be open till 4, but it is not. So it's kind of unfortunate. But maybe just Boxing Day and the 27th they're off. But I've been inside before, but that doesn't help us now because some of you haven't been inside yet. But if you just jumped on, I'll just walk through here again just to show the inside. Then I'll come back down the steps. So yellow shoe, to answer your question truthfully, I'm not, but that's because also it's not open. Would I visit the Goldsmiths Hall in London? Yeah, of course. Yeah, I would. I mean, I would visit virtually anywhere. So here's the Chapel of Unity, which I think is cool. Sorry for the shakiness there. That was a little bit of the stabilizer. Kind of figuring out. I kind of just I've let it get rained on a couple times, but I've kept it kind of shielded. So it might have something to do with it, but yeah, this is really cool. Yeah, I like that. Oh, St. Michael the Archangel defeated Lucifer with God's power. Thank you for that. All this for a fictional story. You're not wrong. Yeah, there's how many religions in the world? They're not all the one. Gotta respect other world religions. I hear you. But brings people together though too, right? Isn't that the point of it all? Just helps you get through the day. You are standing in a sacred landscape with 3 cathedrals around you. The earliest one is in the ruins of the great medieval Benedictine Priory Cathedral. So it was one of the only cathedrals destroyed during the Reformation. So that was like I said, where they wanted to distance themselves from the Pope and the way the Catholicism was set up at the time. And so there's the ruins. So that's the Benedictine Priory and the medieval Church of St. Michael. So here's another look at it. Hang on 1 second, guys. I'm going to turn off the stabilizer and then turn it back on. That's why it's so shaky. Sorry about that. Might just need a little reset. I think sometimes the water gets into the gears a little bit. Yeah, the topic of religion is obviously it's a hot button issue. The only thing I'd say to all that is that I've been thankfully into places that had other religions too, and I've been welcomed by all of them. That's one thing I'm super proud to say. I've eaten on a Muslim holy day with people in Morocco. I've had other religious types of festivities in other countries and place. So anyway, that's all I would say. It is just be open-minded. That's all. You remember something somebody learned from birth or a young age. That's still their reality. So over there, like I was saying to you before, that's where the the pieces from the ceiling fell in a cross. You see that cross? That's actually from the original roof of the cathedral. And of course, the walls, all this is original, right? It was stabilized so it wouldn't fall over, and made sure it was sound. But this is the inside of what would have been a huge cathedral. Look at the size of this from where we are to the back wall. Imagine if you were standing underneath it. That would be a very, very large cathedral. No small site for sure. 345. There are gargoyles, actually. Yeah, I think we have a couple gargoyle downspouts. If I'm not mistaken, it's 1, 2, 3 gargoyle downspouts. Yeah, I love gargoyle downspouts. It's one of the first things that pulled me in about a building in Pittsburgh. So they had the gargoyle downspouts, and I was like, I'm sold. Build the house. It's stone. I'm gonna put gargoyle downspouts on there, just like the son, the editor of the New York Herald, putting owls everywhere on the Herald building. So those spires too, like I said, those are the third tallest in England. Remember, Europe isn't known for its skyscrapers. They're kind of popping up now. It's not known for tall buildings, specifically here in Europe. So, 295 feet, that spire. But yeah, this one dates back to it's 1300s, So you're talking about a very, very old parish. And it was one of the biggest too, obviously, like I said. The other interesting bit about Coventry too is it's the only place outside of London that actually had a royal residence. So there was actually a royal residence here. So there is some of that history involving the royal family. So that's where you need to know that it's not that far from London. So that's kind of gives you an idea of proximity. So the only place outside of London that had a royal residence for a period of time. So another, 500 to 600-year-old area here with the timbered houses dating back to, some medieval times. So it's about year 1500 there with the timber on it. So, that's really cool when you think about it. If you think about the age of that versus, stuff in the United States, we just don't have that extra, 300-400 years on things like that without breaking a sweat. You're like, oh, year 1500 or, year 1300. It's like, okay. It's hard to even have really a concept of that. Where there's thunder? No thunder. No, it's just rain. Also, too, the Herbert Museum is a great free museum in Coventry that has a ton of great history about the war, everything, but then contemporary stuff too. They have a biennial that has a cool exhibit on the Guana Islands, like the U.S. Guana Islands Act. Like I was just in there earlier today. It was really cool. You wouldn't think, oh yeah, art scene, Coventry, maybe not, but no, it was great. So definitely a place you can come enjoy. This is here in the Midlands. So anyway, it's my brother's second year here, so I obviously really enjoy visiting him. It's my third or fourth time here. Oh, you've been to the Motor Museum? Yeah, I walked us by there earlier. I obviously didn't have a chance to go inside. Chelsemere Manor, really cool. Yep. And then here's just another shot looking inside the cathedral from here. Just because I can't go inside today, I'm just trying to give you a perspective on it. That's where I was standing earlier. I was just standing at those gates where I was showing you at the phone, like looking this way. And there's the new cathedral behind it. So the St. Michael, the Archangel sculpture is just past that wall. It's attached to this wall. Like that's the new part. I don't know. I live in the United States, but my brother lives in the UK, so I'm here visiting him. So there's the Herbert Museum there. I'm just going to check some train times here for us. Right, yeah, I mean, but you remember too, obviously it was bombed so heavily here. It was, you had an opportunity to rebuild, right? Oh yeah, there's diesel cars for sure. Oh yeah, there's diesel cars for sure. Well, the sky cleared up for us, didn't it? Nice. Cool. Just checking train times here, guys. Flip you around here. Sorry, I just have to check the train times to Birmingham. 1 second. I'm just going to turn you around so you can see, but sorry for the radio silence. And yeah, they're diesel cars, absolutely. Yeah, I was in one yesterday. It has a 700-mile range and a Volkswagen. It's incredible. Maybe consider buying one, actually. Almost everything's delayed. Damn. Right. Yes. Yeah. 14th century, dating back to the 1300s. Exactly. It's precisely correct. So it looks like everything after 5 isn't so delayed. Okay. Interesting. 5:27, and then. So I'll just explain my thought process. So what I'm doing is I'm checking train time. So I stayed in Birmingham last night, and I'm staying there again tonight. My brother's roommate's girlfriend is in town, so I just got a hotel. My bag is at the hotel at Birmingham, and then when I come back here on the 30th, I'm going to stay in Coventry. So what I was thinking of doing is just running back to Birmingham, grabbing my bag, and then leaving it here because I'm just going to Poland for 2 days. Like I fly to Poland tomorrow morning, and then I'll be back on the 30th. So I don't need to take all my bag, my larger duffel bag there. Anyway, thanks, Miney. I'll never get that never gets old, especially at my old age here.
Just here on the left-hand side.
Sorry, guys. This is the Coventry Cathedral. Coventry Cathedral. Go down the casino. Yeah, we'll be later. Don't worry. So I spent some late nights at the casino, just observing people. I don't really gamble, but that's where the team ends up going because it's right by the rink. So Birmingham New Street to Cov. You got, let's see, 603, 603. Okay, it's not bad. Not bad, not bad. On 11, I needed to take it down to a 7. That's I can only think of what's it called? The movie. What's the movie where he's like, you're at 10, you got to take it to an 11. Take it to an 11. What's that one? Spinal Tap. Right? Hey, Andrea, happy birthday. Very cool. So, just trying to figure out that stuff. Guys. Let's stop. So, we'll do a quick little trip here, guys. Yeah, great sky, right? Let's do a walk. I'm going to do a little walk through the city, and I'll go by the Chelsmore Manor House, which was the royal residence. Yeah, the storm was worth it, huh? It should be so my brother lives here. Yeah, I'm visiting my brother. Yeah, let's do a little walk through town, and then we can kind of enjoy the sights. I'm gonna walk up and then back through the city. So I'm gonna walk. Yeah, we'll do a little walk through town. So again, the Coventry Cathedral, as the people that have been on, I won't bore you with it, but that's one of the main tourist sites here because of its history during World War II. So it was bombed heavily. That's why it has no roof. But let's have a look at a couple other places here. Herbert Museum, though, is right here to my left. Cool museum, has a lot of history stuff in there. So I was directed there by a friend, and it definitely didn't disappoint. So medieval church site, now occupied by the new cathedral, the old cathedral, and then the priory, the old priory site. So there's three churches all kind of in one area. So this is a part of town I really like too. I'll get to the front here. I'll show you. This will be nice actually for this time of day. So we're getting like an extended golden hour. I think the sun technically set. There's the Herbert Art Gallery Museum. Very cool and free. So they have some paid exhibits inside, but to see most of it, it's free. So, oh wow, your dad served. Thank him for his service, if you're able to do so. Hey Richard, thanks for the follow, buddy. So St. Mary's Street, right? There's the cathedral there. There's just the side of it. Remember, we were just by there. Part of for the Blaze, the Coventry Blaze, they have players. You can get your degree as well while playing. Like it's part of like your a lot of guys will get their masters when they play in the UK, which is kind of a cool touch. So I'll just show you part of town, but
The other thing is, if I see it, I have to
across the street, this is the council house. I'll give you a better shot of it when we cross. You'll see the perspective a little bit better. And then I'll take you kind of through the new part. We'll do the Ford Hospital too. So the only thing it's missing is the flags, which would be cool. But here's the council house right here. Oh, you always wanted to go back to Coventry, huh? Yeah, exactly. Like a city hall, exactly. Yep, council house. Yeah, the city council is like your, your governing body, your local government. I think it's also the source of, people gripe about, oh, the council wants to do this or that, and that's kind of like typical of, when you want to criticize. It's common in a lot of places in Europe. Complaining is one of the national pastimes, but I think that's kind of everywhere. Yeah, a few people. When you get into the shopping center, there's a lot more people, and some of that's covered too. They do have a Christmas market here, which looks okay. It's not the best I've ever seen. It's not the worst. So. So this is more new stuff, and then you have this column here, these old bank buildings. So Hertford Street is like the shopping area, upper precinct, lower precinct. Oh, Bonnie, thanks. Lisa, this is Coventry, England. The Primark is just a stone's throw away. Yeah, the Lady Godiva thing is right here too. I know that's like a popular thing, the Peeping Tom and Lady Godiva. I don't exactly know the mythology of it because I just don't sort of pay attention to that as much, but so it's a nice little town, It's not the biggest city you'd ever see, but they have stuff. So here's your Christmas market. They have like German stuff here too. And then there's that huge Primark just the other side of it. Peeling a giant pomelo, yeah. Oh, really? Come on. Good for you. Those are fun. I haven't had one of those in a while. So they got a Five Guys now. And Wagamama is actually like if you've never had it before, it's not bad. It's like an Asian fusion restaurant. It's not bad. So there's the Lady Godiva, noble woman, and then the Ferris wheel here. Oh, cool, interesting. Coventry. Coventry's color is blue. Because they like that saying, true as Coventry blue. It goes back to the medieval times when there was tanneries here. So it's depicted even in the Blaze. The Blaze are blue, as well as the football club. So it's a blue. True as Coventry blue is the saying. Because the tanneries were the coloring and the garments made from here were known to be of very high quality. Yeah, it's a coral. That's basically an off-site bedding house. Toby side saddle. I don't know. What do you mean? Oh, Lady Godiva, yeah. I'm sorry, I don't know the mythology that well. I really don't. So, I'll do a couple more. It's 4:11, so it's gonna get darker soon, but we'll just do 2 more sites and I'll bring us back to the city center. So this is a historic almshouse too, which, as we discussed, it's just up here. It's just this building with the timber here. But she rode the horse side saddle. Oh, okay. Okay. See, that's why, again, I always say this, you have to do these because I'm going to learn something. I learn by making mistakes or not knowing. And if you think I didn't, I watch my old lives sometimes. I'll have them in the background playing when I'm doing other things, and I'll go and I'll hear something and go, oh, that was wrong. So I learned by not knowing, because you guys ask me questions and sometimes I don't know the answer. Well, I got to figure it out, or I appreciate in this instance you telling me, so thank you. Side saddle, cool. So this site here, this was originally like a 6 residence almshouse, which we talked about earlier. Even Lisa said it can be for the very poor, the elderly, the infirmed. So and it still is today. Now it's a 7 residence almshouse, but right here, Ford's Hospital, still active too. And what I was saying before about Spawn Street, because we're close to there, but some of the buildings near here that had this look were relocated to Spawn Street after World War II too. So named after William Ford, whose will of 1509 endowed the almshouses built around a narrow courtyard. One of the most perfect examples of timber framed architecture in the country. So rebuilt with original timbers. Cool. So that's this. And it's still active. They put up a tree. Almshouse for the old ladies of Coventry. Founded in 1509. 1509. Right? Pretty crazy. It's just amazing when you look at the foundation. Look how things kind of get worn down through hundreds of years. But I'll just go show the court and then I'll be quiet too. So I always just try to be respectful. I can show those things, but I kind of don't want to make it obvious. You know, it's someone's home, so you wouldn't want someone coming to your house and yelling. So I can be a little loud sometimes. So that's the Ford's Hospital. Oh, rain's back. Oh, didn't have long. Didn't have too long, guys. Hey, no problem. Hey, we're getting to explore it together. And I know there's people on here from Coventry, so I don't want to improperly say things. So I appreciate people contributing and helping. So we're almost done. I'll bring us back to the city center here in a sec. But like I said earlier, you can't let the rain throw you off in England. It kind of fits, you know? It's like it doesn't look right without the rain. Yeah, my stabilizer really is getting kind of weird. This trip might be its swan song, or it could be the water. I mean, I've literally been using it for over 2 hours of water, so no piece of electronics is gonna like that. So last stop here. So the Black Prince. This was basically the gatehouse of the Chelmsford Manor House. So this was a royal residence. Like I said, it was the only one that was outside of London. So now this is kind of all that remains. But you can see the timbered, the timber construction. So this was the gatehouse. So Chelmsford Manor House. Oh, that's cool. You can actually see up into the roof. That's neat. This is Coventry, England. You know, when I first moved to New Zealand in 2015, I thought the whole left thing, like, I can't tell you how stressed out I was about it. But, I got in the car, get in on the right side. You know, you'll still go to the wrong side of the car sometimes when you got the keys. But everything is reverse. So, like, the gear shift obviously is in reverse. The pedals aren't reversed. Like, the right is gas, the left is brake. But I'm telling you, driving on the left wasn't as hard as you think. You just have to kind of look at the road and focus when you're turning and let things pass, obviously, to the right of you. But I'm telling you, I was so stressed out about it, and it wasn't that difficult. I had no incidents, and I drove a lot. So just saying, it's. I think the reason I'm saying that is because if some of the things were different, but not everything, I think it would be much more difficult. But the fact that everything was reversed, literally just a mirror image, not too bad, right? So anyway, that's my thought on it. But obviously everybody has their, everyone has their horror story of going to Ireland or renting a car and, their dad driving or whatever and having some crazy near miss, right? So anyway. Yeah, be sat on the right. Yeah, and I enjoyed it. My brother's second year here too. They have the imports have a car, and I think they've been okay. But Anyway, Chalice Moor Manor House. This is basically the gate, but just another look at it here. Like I said, it was home of the Black Prince. Once I went to Hong Kong and China, Singapore and Taiwan. Yeah, that would be crazy. That would be pretty crazy. Hong Kong and China, Singapore and Taiwan. Yeah, that would be crazy. That would be pretty crazy. So Lisa, that's funny because I've been to all those places too. You'd have Hong Kong left, China right, Singapore left, Taiwan right. Sweet. Very cool. All right. My brother just texted me, and I'm going to go stop by and say hi to him quickly because he's going to leave for the rink soon. So I appreciate you guys watching along today. This is really fun. I got to explore it with you. So keep in mind, I don't live here. I visited here a few times, but, hasn't been, it's not like I'm rooted here. So I did a live here last year, and I really liked how it went. So it was nice to do another one because I kind of got to know the feel of the history a little bit better. But, do they have the black? Yeah, answer her. I'll leave it along. Yellow shoe. I'm curious to know if she had it too. She has a lot of good food recommendations. So if Slow Tech tells you something regarding a tip or a local kind of touch on things, just listen because those are curated tips. I was a big fan of the congee. So in Hong Kong, I love the congee. Even the one that has the chicken foot on top of the rice one too. That was great. I went crazy from local food. I did go up to the Tai Po Cooked Food Center for the noodles. I know Anthony Bourdain made a trip there during the layover, so I did make it up there for that too. That was pretty cool. Had to do a bus. Obviously, it was a little bit far outside of the MTR range, so I did do a bus, similar to London too, the double-decker bus. So, all right. Thanks a lot, guys. I'm going to walk over to my brother's really quick, and went to Jumbo Restaurant for dim sum. I thought the portions were big. I had great dim sum there too. I ate one at 3-1 restaurant. That was a place by Central that I liked too. It was a pretty no frills restaurant. That was a place I really enjoyed. It's called 3-1 restaurant. Guys, listen, take care of yourselves. Go Blaze, go. Playing the Devils here in 3 hours. They need a W. All right. Have a great day. It's much earlier in the U.S. So you have much more of the day. The sun's already set in Coventry. So thanks, guys. I'm not sure about tomorrow, what time we'll be able to be on, but it'll be the afternoon in Europe. So probably morning U.S. It'll be Warsaw, Poland. So we'll hit it hard tomorrow. Throw some history at you. A little bit of tourism. Okay. We'll have fun with it. So take care of yourselves, and I will talk to you guys soon. All right. Thanks a lot. See you around. Thanks, guys. Talk to you later.